Hola clase, ¿cómo están ustedes? Hoy vamos a practicar para examen número uno. So the first thing we're going to do is practice some listening. I'm going to read a paragraph to you and you're going to answer true or false. So if you look, I believe it's page 31, maybe 32 in your packet, but at the top it has comprehensión auditiva. Listen to the narration, then indicate whether the following sentences are cierto or falso. So just take a second to read these sentences. And I'm going to read this paragraph twice. And you're going to circle, if it's true, you're going to circle cierto, the C. If it's false, you're going to circle F, falso. So this will give you a really great practice of listening in Spanish. And I'll do my best to speak clearly and slowly. Mariana es estudiante en la Universidad de Chile. Es muy inteligente y responsable. Ella estudia en la Facultad de Letras. Toma 4 clases. Son ciencias políticas, inglés, filosofía y español. Entre semana por la tarde, Mariana estudia en la biblioteca. Por la noche, cena en la cafetería y mira la televisión en su residencia. Los fines de semana practica el voleibol en el gimnasio con sus amigos. So I'm going to read it one more time so you can double check your answers and double check what you heard. Mariana es estudiante en la Universidad de Chile. Es muy inteligente y responsable. Ella estudia en la Facultad de Letras. Toma 4 clases. Son ciencias políticas, inglés, filosofía y español. Entre semana, por la tarde, Mariana estudia en la biblioteca. Por la noche, cena en la cafetería y mira la televisión en su residencia. Los fines de semana practica el voleibol en el gimnasio con sus amigos. So what we're going to do is check your answers. So número uno es falso. Mariana es profesora en la Universidad de Chile. Mariana es estudiante en la Universidad de Chile. No es profesora. Número 2. Es cierto. Ella estudia en la Facultad de Letras. Número 3. Es falso. Ella no toma 5 clases. ¿Cuántas clases toma ella? Ella toma 4 clases. Número 4. Cierto. Toma las clases de inglés y ciencias políticas. Y número 5. Es falso. ¿Practica el voleibol antes de clase? No. Practica el voleibol después de clases. So antes means before and después means after. So it was one small word you had to hear. Hopefully you did okay on this assignment. And don't panic if you feel overwhelmed right now. Getting an ear for Spanish is one of the most difficult things to do. So the more you can expose yourself to Spanish by listening to music videos, watching telenovelas, or anything Spanish, it's just getting your ear used to the sound in Spanish. So the next actividad, listening part B or part 2, I'm just going to ask some questions and then I'll give you some time to answer them. So even if you don't understand it, just skip it until we get to the answers. So we'll do our best. I'm going to ask you 5 different questions, and you're going to write down what you think those answers are on the lines that are provided on that sheet of paper. So, número 1. ¿Cómo eres? ¿Cómo eres? So, necesitas dar una descripción. Necesitas dar una descripción. Por ejemplo, yo soy alta. Yo soy inteligente. So, ¿cómo eres? Número 2. ¿Qué estudias? ¿Qué estudias? Número 3, number 3. ¿Cuál es tu clase favorita? ¿Cuál es tu clase favorita? Número 4. ¿Cuál deportes practicas? ¿Cuál deportes practicas? Por ejemplo, yo practico el voleibol. ¿Cuál deportes practicas? Número 5. ¿A qué hora es tu clase de español? Now, I realize that we don't have a Spanish class per se, but if we did, make up your answer to this question. ¿A qué hora es tu clase de español? ¿A qué hora es tu clase de español? Okay, vamos. So, la primera pregunta, ¿cómo eres? Is asking how are you, but it's not asking how are you as in cómo estás. It's asking how are you as in a description of yourself. So, ¿cómo eres is what are you like? So you can have numerous different answers. So, yo soy alto, I am tall, bajo, short, gordo, fat, guapo, handsome, inteligente, smart, aburrido, boring, loco, crazy, and hay muchas más posibilidades. So there's a lot more possibilities. And remember, if you're a girl and you answered these questions, your adjectives should end in an A. Número dos, ¿qué estudias? What are you studying, or what do you study? You could have said numerous different answers. Yo estudio español, estudio matemáticas, ciencias, lenguas extranjeras. So there's numerous different answers you could have had for this one. But remember, when you're asked a question, if it starts with yo, it ends in o when you're talking about using certain verbs. Número 3, ¿cuál es tu clase favorita? What is your favorite class? So you begin to answer this question by saying, mi clase favorita es Historia, Matemáticas, Ciencias, Lenguas Extranjeras, Español. So you start the question by saying mi clase favorita es, and then you put in whatever class is your favorite. Número 4, ¿cuál deportes practicas? Hopefully I gave you a good enough hint. Deportes means sports. So you could have said numerous different answers. Yo practico el baloncesto, el voleibol, el tenis, el béisbol, el basketball, el fútbol americano. Hay muchas posibilidades. Y número 5, ¿a qué hora es tu clase de español? So this is asking you what time your Spanish class is at, and I realize this is an online course, so you could have just made up an answer. But remember, anytime someone asks ¿a qué hora? That means at what time. You begin your answer, or you answer it by saying a las instead of son las, how we learned to tell time. So mi clase de español es a las 11. So this one says my Spanish class is at 11. Hopefully this is a good start if you're listening. If it didn't go well, don't worry, there's still hope for you. It takes a long time for your ear to get used to learning Spanish, and we'll be doing more listening activities as the semester goes now that we have a much higher vocabulary. So for part C, we're just going to check your answers on these. So part C, número uno is B, la silla. Número dos is A, el cuaderno. Número 3 is D, los lápices. Número 4 is A, la mesa. Y número 5 is C, la ventana. For the next part for vocabulary, número uno, los bolígrafos. Número dos, el reloj. Número tres, la puerta. Número cuatro, la mochila. Número cinco, la computadora portátil. The next section you had to tell time, and there was one that you could have had two possible answers, so we'll just go over it. ¿Cómo se dice 1:40? How do you say 1:40? Son las 2:20. So remember, you round up to the next hour, and then you subtract by using the word menos how many minutes it actually is to the next hour. Son las 2:20. And if you're really good at your numbers, you actually could say es la 1:40. You could say 1:40. 12:45. ¿Cómo se dice 12:45? Es la 1:15 or 15. Or, if you're good at your numbers, son las 12:45. 1:20, ¿cómo se dice 1:20? Es la 1:20. So remember, when it's 1 o'clock, it's the only one that uses es la. All the other ones will use son las. So, ¿cómo se dice 4:30? Son las 4:30. Or son las 4:30. So depending whether you want to say media, which means half, or 30, which actually just means 30. So for your next ones, you had to make sure that your adjectives agreed with your subject pronouns. So numero uno, Jorge y Diana son guapos. And the reason that you have to add an S to the end is because you have more than one person. So your subject pronoun, the number of subjects, need to always agree with your adjective. Número dos, Samantha es inteligente. So words that end in E are really friends of yours because you don't need to change it to O, A, or anything. The only thing you need to do if it was plural is add an S. So Samantha es inteligente. Número tres, Marta y Raúl son optimistas. Hopefully none of you changed it to optimistos because you realized that there was one boy. This word ends in ISTA as some words do, like dentista. So in this case, because there's more than one person, you would just add an S to the end. Número cuatro, yo necesito estudiar mis apuntes para clase. So apuntes means notes, and apuntes is plural. So that means me needs to be plural. So it would be mis apuntes. So remember, in possessive adjectives, it has nothing to do with the number of people. It has to do with what you possess that makes the possessive adjective singular or plural. Número cinco, nuestros amigos bailan con nosotros los sábados. So again, here we have amigos, which is plural and masculine. So nuestros needs to be plural and masculine. So the next part, you had to use the verb ser. So remember, you conjugate the verb ser by soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. So this verb is really important to know. So make sure you know this verb before you take your first exam. So you have to fill in the blank with the correct form. So número uno, José y yo somos perezosos. Número dos, yo soy de Uruguay. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this out there as extra review. ¿Qué es la capital de Uruguay? What is the capital of Uruguay? La capital es Montevideo. Número tres, Javier Bardem and Penelope Cruz son españoles. Y número cuatro, el lápiz es de Alicia. So on to the last part, what you had to do is conjugate your AR verbs. So número uno, tú navegas en internet todos los días. Número dos, Miguel anda en bicicleta los fines de semana. Y número tres, yo saco buenas notas en la clase de contabilidad. So hopefully this was a good review for you. You got a little bit of listening and a little bit of writing. And I hope for all of you that your Spanish is coming by poco a poco, which means little by little. If you have any dying questions, please send an email to me and I hope to answer them the best I can. And make sure you do ask questions, because if you have a question, there's a good chance somebody else has that same question. And asking questions is how we get things done and you can learn more. So please don't be afraid to email me and ask me anything that you need. Que tenga buen día. Have a great day. Ciao.